Dajjal's river is fire. And you're looking at Indonesia and Pakistan and Bangladesh.
Ulama dunia ini mengatakan Indonesia bisa jadi neraka bagi para pengikut Dajjal. Kenapa bisa begitu? Simak penjelasannya di video ini.
Khairul Onggon.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum guys, dan selamat kembali ke channel Khairul Onggon. Di video kali ini saya akan bakal meriak konten dari satu YouTube channel, yaitu Hidayah Channel, yang judulnya ialah Surga dan Nerakanya Dajjal Syekh Imran Hussein. Channel ini benar-benar kaya dengan konten-konten yang informatif dan edukatif, yang pastinya sangat bermanfaat untuk memperluaskan wawasan kita semua. Kerana itu, saya akan menonton dan mereaksi videonya, dan di akhir video itu nanti saya juga akan memberikan sedikit komentar dan pendapat pribadi sebagai tambahan untuk memperjelas dan memperkaya perbahasan. Jadi tetap bersama saya sampai selesai ya. Ayo kita nonton sama-sama. Hidayah Channel, subscribe guys.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Nahmaduhu wa nusalli ala rasulihil karim. We greet you on this, the 27th day of...
Okay, video ini direkam pada hari ke-7 bulan Ramadan yang lalu. Jadi video ini pun
month of Ramadan with
berapa bulan lalu.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi.
The juz for today, go to my book, The Quran and the Moon.
Okay,
on the 27th day,
guys.
It begins with Suratul Qiyamah, goes to Suratul Insan, Suratul Mursalat, Suratul Naba, and ends with Suratul Nazi'at. Now then, we're speaking about the footprints of the Antichrist, and our Christian brothers in particular would be very tremendously interested in learning what our Prophet, Allah's blessings be upon him, has said about the Antichrist, as only a prophet could speak. We spoke last night about the epistemological attack of the Antichrist, and this is perhaps his most dangerous attack of all. And if we succumb to this attack, we would be rendered a people who would, like him, would be jasads, meaning we would be internally blind. We would not be able to ever reach Majma'ul Bahrain, the place where the two oceans meet. The ocean of knowledge externally acquired, and the ocean of knowledge internally received. And these two oceans of knowledge are harmoniously integrated. This is Khidr alayhi salam. This was Maulana Jalaluddin Rumi, one of the rivers which came from Khidr alayhi salam. And Khidr is so much like Jesus. And from Khidr to Maulana Jalaluddin Rumi, and then so many rivers came from him, and one of them was Dr. Muhammad Iqbal. And so many rivers came from Iqbal, and one of them was my teacher of blessed memory, Maulana Dr. Muhammad Fadl Rahman Ansari. Majma'ul Bahrain, the place where the two oceans meet. And now then, if we are a lucky people and we can survive his epistemological attack, we'll be able to understand and penetrate the next attack, which is also perhaps, some might say this is his most dangerous attack. Why? The Prophet, Allah's blessing be upon him, said that the Antichrist will come with a mountain of bread.
Dajjal akan datang dengan segunung roti, katanya.
And people will follow him for his bread.
Orang-orang akan mengikutinya untuk mendapatkan roti.
How does he get this bread? The
Bagaimana dia
answer,
bisa mendapatkan
he gets
rotinya?
this bread this mountain of bread, which is what the modern West has today, because of riba.
Oh. Okay.
The Prophet ﷺ is on Mount Arafat and he gives a farewell sermon, Khutbatul Wida. Shortly after that, the last revelation came down. We thought it was the last, because Allah says, "Ba'da'uzu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem." Revelation came down. Al-yawma akmaltu lakum deenakum. Today we've perfected the deen. The deen was coming to us from all the way from Adam alayhi salam to Ibrahim alayhi salam to Abraham to Moses to Jesus. And now finally, the deen has come. There's one deen with Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. And today it is perfected. وَأَتْمَمْتُ عَلَيْكُمْ نِعْمَتِي. And today I have completed my favor unto you. So we thought this is the last. But no. After this Khutbatul Wida, he left Mecca and returned to Yathrib, which today is called Medina. And it was there that one more revelation came down.
Okay.
Why did Allah do this?
Mengapa Allah
Why
melakukan
did he,
ini?
after declaring the job is finished, why did he send one more? Except to emphasize to us, now and for all times, that here is where the greatest danger of all. The last revelation of the authority of Abdullah ibn Abbas radiallahu ta'ala anhu is located in Surah Al-Baqarah. I think it is one, what is it? It's close to the end. And Allah says 184, 185, 186 perhaps. He says, بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله. O you who have faith in the one God, fear Allah. وذروا ما بقي من الربا. Give up your demand for riba. إن كنتم مؤمنين, if you are faithful. فإن لم تفعلوا, and if you don't do it, فأذنوا بحرب من الله ورسوله. Take notice, I'm going to wage war, and my messenger, my prophet will also wage war with me on riba. The implication of this last revelation coming down on the subject of riba is because this is where the greatest danger of all is located, and this is how Dajjal gets his mountain of bread. The Prophet ﷺ cursed all four, and he said they're all equally guilty. The one who takes riba,
orang ambil riba,
the one who gives riba, he borrows from the IMF and he has to pay, as Pakistan has been doing, even under Imran Khan, and he has to pay the interest. The Prophet cursed you. The one who records the transaction and both the two witnesses, and he said they're all equally guilty. And so it is through riba that Dajjal gets his mountain of gold, of bread. What is riba? When I go to Britain, I hope to get a chance to speak at length on the subject, but you can't speak on length in 1 hour. So you still have to get parts of the subject. You have to, I have delivered seminars on the subject of riba. I think the first one was in Seattle on the west coast of the United States. It must have been 22 years ago I was in Seattle. I gave the same seminar, it was an all-day seminar on riba in Colombo, in Sri Lanka.
Beliau ini seorang ulama yang memperjuangkan tentang bahayanya riba ya guys. Beliau lantang bersuara tentang keburukan, kejahatan, kerosakan yang disebabkan oleh riba ataupun dalam sistem ekonomi sekarang yang rusak.
I gave it in Sydney in Australia. I gave it in Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia.
Di Kuala Lumpur pun ada juga.
I've given the complete one-day seminar on riba. Riba today, which delivers to Dajjal his mountain of gold, is a subject nobody teaches anymore. It seems as though there is an incapacity in Islamic scholarship to be able to understand and penetrate the subject, and also perhaps they are scared of teaching the subject. And so let us I pray that Allah helps me to make this video short. Yes. Just a snippet of an explanation
sedikit
on riba.
cuplikan tentang riba.
The riba in the modern world comes basically from two ways. Number one, it comes from the money. What is money? And number two, it comes from the banking system. Although the Prophet ﷺ defined riba as any transaction, not just money being lent on interest, any transaction. Listen carefully, I'm going to speak slowly.
Dengar baik-baik.
Any transaction excuse me, based on deception, which delivers an advantage, a gain, a reward, which is unjust, is riba. He says, if you meet a man coming to the market to sell his goods, he has a truckload of durians. If you've never had a durian, you don't know the king of all fruits. It's in Southeast Asia. He has a truckload of durians.
Okay.
And you meet him outside of the market and you buy his truckload of durians from him. And when he goes into the market, he discovers he could have gotten a better price. The Prophet said that's riba. The price in the market was a higher price. You met him outside of the market. You concealed from him what was the market price. And you bought the truckload of durians for him by deception at a price lower than the market price. That is riba. You take your car to the garage. It's just a fuse that needs to be changed. And the fuse is probably €1. And the garage says, this is a big job. This is going to take 1 week. It's going to cost you €5,000, and you know nothing about the car. 1 week later, you pay the 5,000 to collect your car. And all that the garage did was a change of fuse that was what? That cost €1. That is riba. So this transaction based on deception is there in the monetary system. But Imran Khan's government in Pakistan, and every government in Pakistan, every government in the world of Islam, from the beginning to this day, in the modern age, they don't know the subject. It is not taught in the Darul Uloom. It will never be taught in the Darul Uloom. Never. They took gold and silver, dinar and dirham, which is in the Quran, which is money with intrinsic value. This is money in the Quran. I don't have the time to explain it to you. And they banned it. You're prohibited from using gold as money. That is in the Articles of Agreement of the International Monetary Fund. And if you make haram what Allah made halal, that is shirk. And what they did was shirk. And if we follow them and accept it, we are also in the shirk. Perhaps now you'll be able to understand the hadith located in Sahih Bukhari. I think it is 4 times. That 999 out of every 1,000 will enter into the hellfire. Now you can understand there's only one way. There's only one way that the God who is kind and forgiving and merciful could send 999 out of every 1,000 into the hellfire. It's because he said, I will not forgive shirk. And they were committing shirk. So when the IMF banned the use of gold as money, they were now free to bring their bogus money into the market. Money with no intrinsic value. Money with, listen to the words, money with fictitious value assigned by people. And therefore it can be manipulated. And when
Uang dengan nilai ciptaan yang nggak ada apa-apa, nol, fiktif
they
katanya.
want to attack you, they will cause the value of your money to fall. As the money was falling in Pakistan because they're not comfortable with Imran Khan's government. And as the value of money falls, prices will rise. You used to work for a salary, and instead of paying you your salary in dinars, and now Russia is doing that, Russia's money now is being backed by gold. Instead of paying you with dinar, out there in Kimberley, they were going for the diamond veins underneath. They were paying the Africans in paper. And when they paid you with paper, if you were good waging, getting a good wage, and after 1 month you could buy a camel.
Boleh membeli unta.
But then after some time, the work is the same, the sweat is the same. But after some time, the salary can no longer buy a camel. It can only buy a donkey.
Nggak bisa
How do we
beli
explain that? And then later on, it
unta
can't
lagi.
buy a donkey anymore. It can only buy a sheep. And if you're in Indonesia later on, you can't buy a sheep anymore. You can only buy a chicken.
Oh,
Is there no sense in the head?
domba itu sheep ya? Baru saya tahu sebenarnya guys. Selama ini domba, adu domba, adu domba. Domba itu sheep ya, yang kambing itu ya. Maaf.
Other than peanuts, to understand that this falling value of money results in a massive transfer of wealth internally within the country to a predatory elite, and also a massive transfer of wealth outside, like a vacuum pump that you use for vacuuming your carpet. Instead, this monetary system is like a vacuum pump, vacuuming the wealth of Africa, vacuuming the wealth of the rest of the world, and bringing it up into the West, so that Dajjal could have his mountain of bread.
Begitu.
The banking system is the same, but we won't take the banking system now because it's already, this video is too long. I want to short.
Oke, kita ringkaskan,
And so-
singkatkan.
Dajjal will come with a mountain of bread.
Oke.
And when all the wealth of the world is over here, everybody want a US visa, want a British visa.
Semua orang yang menginginkan visa ke Amerika Syarikat, ke Inggris, ke
They want a
Kanada
Canadian
katanya.
visa. They want to go and live in Australia. They want Singapore. They want Brunei. They want to go where the bread is located.
Oke.
Not knowing that you are looking that and it looks like a river. Dajjal's river is not a river. Dajjal's river is his fire. And you're looking at Indonesia and Pakistan and Bangladesh where the place is so poor, miserably poor. And you're saying that's the fire. I would never go back to live in Bangladesh. I have more sense than that. Why would I leave New York or Los Angeles or Miami? Are you listening to me in the United States? I lived there for 12 years, you know. Why would I leave the green pastures of the United States of America to go back to Pakistan? Why would I do that? That's Dajjal. That is fire down there in Pakistan. The poverty is so great. No, you dumb. That fire is where the river is. That's what your prophet said. And it's time for you to wake up. Instead of following Dajjal for his mountain of bread, it's better for you to stay away from this,
Dia menyebut
even
Indonesia
if
tadi
you
ya,
have
guys.
to eat what the Pakistani and Indians call dal and roti. Thank you. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Subscribe guys channel Hidayah. Oke teman-teman, menurut pandangan Syekh Imran Hussein, yaitu salah seorang ahli ilmu yang banyak membahas soal tanda-tanda akhir zaman. Ada kemungkinan besar bahawa Indonesia termasuk antara tempat yang aman dari fitnah Dajjal. Pandangan ini bukannya datang dari ramalan kosong, tetapi berlandaskan pada analisis mendalam terhadap kondisi dunia akhir zaman serta ciri-ciri masyarakat dan tempat yang berpotensi bertahan menghadapi fitnah global yang sangat dahsyat. Dia juga sudah beberapa kali datang ke Indonesia ya. Jadi secara logiknya kita tahu bahawa Indonesia merupakan sebuah negara dengan populasi Muslim terbesar di dunia dengan lebih 200 juta umat Islam. Wajar saja jika Indonesia menjadi perhatian besar dalam senario akhir zaman ini. Namun uniknya menurut Syekh Imran, bukan kuantiti umat Islam yang menjadikan Indonesia tempat aman, tetapi kualiti kehidupan yang berpegang pada agama dan kesederhanaan masyarakatnya. Dalam banyak ceramah beliau, Syekh Imran menyatakan bahawa Indonesia masih memiliki kelebihan yang sukar dicari di tempat lain, yaitu tanahnya yang subur, hasil pertanian yang melimpah dan sumber daya alam yang luas serta masyarakat yang walaupun hidup dalam keterbatasan tetap menampilkan ketulusan, keramahan dan kekuatan iman yang luar biasa. Beliau menggambarkan bahawa di saat dunia semakin runtuh kerana krisis ekonomi, peperangan dan fitnah ideologi, tempat seperti Indonesia yang masih ada komuniti bertani, masyarakat tradisional dan nilai kekeluargaan serta agama yang kuat akan menjadi lebih relevan dan selamat. Bahkan dengan senyuman masyarakat yang miskin pun, katanya, terdapat kekuatan rohani yang besar. Inilah yang ada nilai yang menjadi perisai untuk menghadapi gelombang fitnah global yang bakal dibawa oleh Dajjal dan sistemnya. Jadi kesimpulannya, walaupun Indonesia disebut oleh beliau juga tetap mengharapkan agar masyarakat Indonesia terus meningkatkan keimanan, ketakwaan dan kesetiaan kepada Allah dan Rasulnya. Kita boleh berada di tengah-tengah kota ataupun di desa ataupun di pergunungan ataupun di ladang, tetapi jika hati kita terjaga dengan Al-Quran, Sunnah dan amal soleh, maka disitulah letaknya kubu pertahanan dari fitnah Dajjal. Sebaliknya, jika kita lalai, maka walaupun berada di tempat yang aman sekalipun, kita tetap dalam bahaya. Maka marilah kita bukan hanya berharap agar Indonesia aman, tetapi juga memastikan hati dan iman kita sentiasa dalam penjagaan Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala. Salah satu amalan yang dianjurkan oleh baginda Rasulullah adalah dengan membaca surah Al-Kahfi, terutama pada hari Jumaat. Sabda Nabi SAW yang bermaksud, barang siapa yang menghafal 10 ayat pertama dari surah Al-Kahfi, maka ia akan terlindung daripada Dajjal. Hadis riwayat Muslim. Okey guys, sampai di sini saja untuk kali ini. Jangan lupa support Hidayah Channel agar channelnya terus berkembang. Dan jika anda suka video reaction ini, jangan lupa subscribe dan dukung channel saya ini juga ya. Yang baik itu datang hanya daripada Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala, yang tidak baik itu datangnya daripada diri saya sendiri. Sampai ketemu lagi di video berikutnya. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.